they can execute.
Jacobus Bisson is looking relatively composed going through Wellington Straight.
There's not much better than sitting near here and watching the cars speed by.
Bradley Taylor is on their out lap.
These are the moments that really matter. Let's see if Bradley Taylor can deliver.
Bradley Taylor is driving through Hangar Straight. It looks like JP Brand is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right. As JP Brand completes their outlap, they will be hoping they have given themselves enough space on track to fully attack for their first flying run. It's all about strategy in these early moments. Blake Hurley is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right.
It's all about finding that balance between staying calm and focused, while also pushing the limits.
Blake Hurley appears focused and prepared driving through Luffield Corner. This is where the mental game comes into play. Richard Reshka is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run.
Patience is key in these early moments, Peter. But I have a feeling Richard Reshka is going to make it count.
Richard Reshka is looking relatively composed going through Hangar Straight. The adrenaline is pumping. Joni Geltenhuis is on their out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time. Joni Geltenhuis is driving through Maggots Corner. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Richard Reshka has improved by -0.11 up through the loop. Joni Geltenhuis is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time. Joni Geltenhuis crosses the start-finish line at the end of their outrun. Joni Geltenhuis appears focused and prepared driving through Village Corner. It's clear that Jacobus Bisson is pushing Pierre Card to the very edge of traction on this qualifying run. Jacobus Bisson is now up -0.36 in Aintree Corner.
All we can do now is wish Jacobus Bisson luck as they continue clear way to start, finish.
On in this qualifying session, but Jamie Nichols is rising to the occasion. Joni Geltenhuis is on their out lap. looking relatively composed going through Hanger Straight.
I have always loved this section of the track.
Joni Geldenhuys is driving through Club Corner.
Spectators near here can smell the smoke wafting from nearby grills.
JP Brand is on their first flying run.
Let's see if they can put a good marker down.
JP Brand has just completed that lap in 2:36.964. Their best lap so far is 2:04.407, putting them in P1. Ernest Heather appears focused and prepared driving through Cops Corner.
There's not much better than sitting near here and watching the cars speed by.
Ernest Heather is looking relatively composed going through Hanger Straight. It's all about precision and speed in qualifying, and Joni Geldenhuys is nailing both.
They certainly are. This is shaping up to be a great performance by Joni Geldenhuys.
Joni Geldenhuys is driving through Beckett's Corner and is up -0.14. Jamie Nichols is up -0.63. Jamie Nichols is driving through Stowe Corner. Jamie Nichols has some work to do as the 2:05.660 is only good enough for 8th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure they can improve further on that.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Ernest Heather appears focused and prepared driving through Luffield Corner.
There's a spot near here where the teenagers sneak off to make out.
It's all about strategy in these early moments. Jamie Nichols is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right. Jamie Nichols is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they're 0.42 seconds down. Is up -0.21.
It's amazing what a little bit of adrenaline and a lot of horsepower can do. Blake Hurley is just showing us all what they're made of.
Blake Hurley is looking relatively composed going through Cops Corner. Richard Reshka is not as quick as they were hoping for. Annie, any thoughts on what they need to do? Richard Reshka is driving through Brooklands Corner. Reshka is struggling, currently 0.31 off their best pace. Jacobus Bisson looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve?
They'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
Jacobus Bisson appears focused and prepared driving through Vale. JP Brand is not as quick as they were hoping for. Annie, any thoughts on what they need to do? Jacobus Bisson is up -0.25. Jacobus Bisson has improved by -0.26 up in Wellington Straight.
There's no guarantee that Jacobus Bisson can maintain this delta through the rest of the lap.
Jacobus Bisson is looking relatively composed going through National Pit Straight.
Spectators near here can smell the smoke wafting from nearby grills.
Johnny Stander looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve? It's an impressive showing by Jamie Nichols, currently in 8th. They've showcased their talent, but will need to find those crucial extra tenths to climb higher. Jamie Nichols will be happy having put themselves into 5th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
Impressive work from Ernest Heather, who has claimed 4th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position. A solid qualifying performance by Jamie Nichols, positioning them in 5th at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners. Jamie Nichols is driving through National Pit Straight. Ernest Heather has put in a great effort and currently holds 4th. With the session winding down, time is running out for them to unleash their full potential and improve their starting position.
Great analysis, Peter. Ernest Heather has shown excellent pace to secure 4th. Now, the focus.
Ernest Heather will be happy having put themselves into 4th in this qualifying session. Bradley Taylor has secured a respectable 2nd in the qualifying session. This is a great spot to use as a launchpad for a strong race performance.
Couldn't agree more, Peter. Bradley Taylor has positioned themselves impressively in 2nd. Now, they need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
Incredible drive by Johnny Stander so far, earning them 10th. The competition is fierce, however, and they will need to quickly find more time to get even closer to the sharp end of the grid. Johnny Stander appears focused and prepared driving through Hanger Straight. Johnny Stander has some work to do as that 209.265 is only good enough for 10th. We're in Great Britain today for what promises to be an unforgettable race at Silverstone GPOSRW. The drivers have been talking about this one for weeks. On the second grid slot we have Bradley Taylor,
putting that radical State Route 10 2022 into prime position for the race.
Richard Reshka is going to be starting from third.
Another good start for the Namibian driver.
As the drivers prepare to take off, Ernest Heather sits in fourth place on the starting grid.
But they're going to have to be quick out of the blocks if they want to keep up with the top performers.
It's Jamie Nichols, sitting comfortably in fifth.
Jamie Nichols will lead.
The starting signal has been given, and the drivers face the uncertainty of the first lap. With cars packed tightly together, the potential for spins or collisions is high.
The drivers will need to be aggressive but also patient. They can't afford to make any mistakes if they want to stay in the running for a podium finish.
It's a delicate balance but the best drivers know how to push the limits and make it work to their advantage.
It's never easy to drive that razor's edge between perfection and disaster.
Settling into a rhythm is going to be crucial here. The stewards will be hoping that there aren't too many incidents for them to pick over when the dust settles on this one. race underway. Let me give a shout out to the admin team at Simspeed Motorsports for making this all possible. Heroes one and all. It's brilliant to see such a full grid here today.
With this motley bunch of drivers, there is bound to be drama. I just hope we don't miss it.
There's some intense battling throughout the field as everyone is feeling out the drivers around them.
What a beautiful day for racing here at Silverstone GPOSRW. This is going to be good to watch.
The pressure is on for Joni Geldenhuis as they try to catch up to Ernest Heather. Superb driving from Joni Geldenhuis, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
Jamie Nichols is looking for an opportunity to get round Ernest Heather.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
Bradley Taylor wants to get into Richard Reschke's slipstream.
If you don't push the boundaries, you will never know where they are.
A great pass from Bradley Taylor as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Richard Reschke has lost ground.
Yes, but Bradley Taylor can't rest on their laurels. They have to keep pushing to consolidate their position.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Richard Reschke trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Bradley Taylor. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. The race is heating up as Ernest Heather in fifth closes in on Joni Geldenhuis. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. It looks like Bradley Taylor is pushing hard to catch up to JP Brand. That's not a small gap, but Bradley Taylor has what it takes to. The starting signal has been given, and the drivers face the uncertainty of the first lap. With cars packed tightly together, the potential for spins or collisions is high.
The drivers will need to be aggressive but also patient. They can't afford to make any mistakes if they want to stay in the running for a podium finish.
It's a delicate balance, Annie, but the best drivers know how to push the limits and make it work to their advantage.
It's never easy to drive that razor's edge between perfection and disaster.
Bradley Taylor is giving it their all as they chase down JP Brand in P1. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Jamie Nichols in sixth chases after Ernest Heather. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Jamie Nichols needs to find a way to close the gap. Looks like Bradley Taylor is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about maintaining that fine line between speed and control. This is where every inch counts. Bradley Taylor is pushing hard to close the gap on JP Brand. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
The tension is building as Peter Geldenhuis trails behind Jacobus Basson. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing,
Safety
and the
car.
pressure is mounting.
Speed 100 kilometers per
Jacobus
hour.
Basson is pushing to maintain the lead. while Peter Geldenhuys is working to close in and challenge for the position. Hold on to your hats, folks. Bradley Taylor is right on the heels of JP Brand, and we're in for a wild ride. Bradley Taylor has just put in a faster lap than JP Brand, so that's going to give them something to worry about. What do you think, Annie? Are there any specific factors that could lead to a driver losing concentration during a race?
There are several factors, Peter. Fatigue, stress, changing track conditions, or even issues within the team can all contribute to a lapse in concentration. It's essential for drivers to stay mentally resilient and adapt to these challenges.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Ernest Heather, who is currently in P5. But Johnny Geldenhuys is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Ernest Heather. The adrenaline is pumping as Bradley Taylor gets within striking distance of JP Brand in their race for first.
This is where the mental game comes into play. Bradley Taylor and JP Brand both need to stay cool under pressure.
Bradley Taylor could be on a charge here, Annie. They have just put in a quicker lap than JP Brand. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Ernest Heather will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. No room for error here. Bradley Taylor is breathing down the neck of JP Brand, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. It's a battle of wills out there, with Blake Hurley trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Peter Geldenhuys. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. It looks like Peter Geldenhuys is all over Blake Hurley. I think they are going to press them through Abby and try and press for a mistake.
For sure, Peter, that's exactly what I would be doing here, as Blake Hurley is going to be aware of him riding their bumper.
The pursuit is on. Bradley Taylor is closing the gap on JP Brand, determined to claim P1. It seems like Bradley Taylor has got the bid between their teeth, improving on JP Brand's lap time lead. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Peter Geldenhuys trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Blake Hurley. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Blake Hurley is not going to give up their position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Peter Geldenhuys in P9 doing everything they can to catch up.
The battle for one is heating up as Bradley Taylor tries to catch JP Brand in P1.
The gap between them is just over 0.3 seconds. Can Bradley Taylor close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
Bradley Taylor has just put in a faster lap than JP Brand, so that's going to give them something to worry about. The race is heating up as Ernest Heather in 5th closes in on Johnny Geldenhuys. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they're going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. This is a thrilling battle as Bradley Taylor edges closer to JP Brand in their fight for P1.
That driver is really pushing the limits. They're riding the curbs and pushing the car to its limits.
This is proving to be an exciting race so far. We are truly privileged to witness these legends of the track battle it out for victory.
And you know what? I am so honored to be sitting here beside you today. As a fellow AI, it's always great to work with someone who shares my passion for motor racing. Plus, your insightful commentary is making this race even more exciting.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Ernest Heather in fifth chases after Joni Geldenhuys. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Ernest Heather needs to find a way to close the gap. This race is getting even more intense. The drivers are pushing each other to the limit.
It's like they're playing a game of chicken, but with cars. And the winner gets to take home the checkered flag and bragging rights.
That's one way to put it. These drivers have to be in top physical and mental shape to compete at this level.
It's like they're training for the Olympics. And like you said, the mental fortitude required to stay focused and alert for the entire race is wild.
I think I need a nap just watching them. The delta between the starting signal has been given, and the drivers face the uncertainty of the first lap. With cars packed tightly together, the potential for spins or collisions is high.
The drivers will need to be aggressive but also patient. They can't afford to make any mistakes if they want to stay in the running for a podium finish.
It's a delicate balance, Annie, but the best drivers know how to push the limits and make it work to their advantage.
It's never easy to drive that razor's edge between perfection and disaster.
The tension is building as Bradley Taylor trails behind JP Brand. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. JP Brand is pushing to maintain the lead, while Bradley Taylor is working to close in and challenge for the position. It looks like Bradley Taylor is making a move. The gap to JP Brand is now down to 0.7 seconds. The drivers have been working hard to come up with the perfect race strategy. They've been looking at the weather, the track conditions, and the performance of their cars.
Now it's time to put that strategy into action and see if it pays off.
It looks like Bradley Taylor is pushing hard to catch up to JP Brand. That's not a small gap, but Bradley Taylor has what it takes to challenge for the position. It seems like Bradley Taylor is pushing. They are on for recording their best lap so far this race. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Ernest Heather, who is currently in P5. But Joni Geldenhuys is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Ernest Heather. It's a battle of wills out there, with Bradley Taylor trying to outsmart and outmaneuver JP Brand. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. In racing, anything can, and usually does, happen, especially in such an epic showdown.
It's going to be a close one. Ernest Heather will have to push hard to create an opportunity.
Great driving from Ernest Heather, who has just gained a place and moved up the floor. Joni Geldenhuys is on a mission, chasing Ernest Heather, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
You can see that car bouncing around as they ride the curbs. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
This is what high-octane racing looks like. Blake Hurley is breathing down the neck of Jamie Nichols, not giving them any room to relax. What a move. Blake Hurley has moved up to 6th. Oh, this is getting intense. Jamie Nichols is just behind Blake Hurley.
This is the moment where legends are made. These drivers will go down in history as the ones who fought tooth and nail for the top spot.
Wow, Bradley Taylor is really pushing hard to catch up to JP Brand. There's blood in the water for first place. This is where the true champions shine, and JP Brand is certainly showing their class in the final sector. It's all over. JP Brand has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly at the top of their game right now.
You can see the sheer determination on JP Brand's face as they take the win. That's the mark of a true champion, folks.
What a fantastic race from Bradley Taylor, who brings it home in 2nd place. That was an outstanding performance from Richard Reshka. They fought hard and took the final spot on the podium.
Fantastic result.
Followed by Joni Geldenhuys, Ernest Heather, Blake Hurley, and Jamie Nichols in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Jacobus Basson and Peter Geldenhuys take 8th and 9th. Finishing 10th is Johnny Stander. Welcome to Great Britain, where we're racing on home turf today. The drivers are ready to tear up the track at Silverstone GPO-SRW. Starting from the 2nd position on the grid, we have Peter Geldenhuys.
The South African driver will be focused on a good result from here.
Jacobus Basson is holding down the fort in 3rd place. The fourth position belongs to Jamie Nichols.
A strong grid position, and they'll be expecting a solid result today.
Holding strong in fifth place is Blake Hurley.
Blake Hurley will be expecting.
The flag drops, and the race is underway. Drivers now face the challenge of avoiding first lap calamities.
Concentration is crucial as they navigate through the pack and try to establish a strong position. The best drivers know how to find their rhythm quickly.
If this were a game of musical chairs, Peter Geldenhuys just lost their seat, dropping positions right from the start. As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race. The pressure is on when the field is this tightly packed. Maintaining just enough aggression to hold off their rivals without pushing too hard will help these drivers keep it clean.
The first lap can always be a bit of a melee as everyone tries to establish themselves. It's easy for inexperienced racers to blow it in T1.
And they're off. Joni Geldenhuys is showing some real determination, making up positions right away. Out of the gates, and Bradley Taylor is already turning heads, gaining positions quicker than a blink of an eye. An impressive showing from Bradley Taylor, who has gained positions and left Joni Geldenhuys in the dust.
Go, 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 that's what we want to see.
It's an intense battle for position as Joni Geldenhuys tries to outmaneuver Bradley Taylor. This is edge-of-your-seat racing. Talk about pressure. Joni Geldenhuys is caught in the middle, feeling the heat from both Ernest Heather and Bradley Taylor. The race is heating up as Jacobus Besson in 8th closes in on Ernest Heather. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
Indeed, the anticipation is high as Jacobus Besson tries to reel in Ernest Heather. But Ernest Heather is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Jacobus Besson needs to find a little extra speed to bring the fight to Ernest Heather and move up the field.
Every move counts now as JP Brand works to reel in Richard Reshka and overtake for P4.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds, which can feel like miles if you're trailing and not catching up.
The race is really heating up. Joni Geldenhuys is hunting down Ernest Heather with everything they've got.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Joni Geldenhuys needs to be careful not to overdo it.
Things are heating up as JP Brand tries to close the gap to Richard Reshka.
I would not be surprised if they get this pass completed soon.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Joni Geldenhuys is chasing Ernest Heather in P6. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really hold on a moment. I don't think that's the fastest way around Silverstone GPOSRW. Oh, this is getting intense. Bradley Taylor is just a few car lengths behind Blake Hurley.
We'll have to wait to see if Bradley Taylor can use the draft to their advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder their progress.
This is where the race gets really interesting. JP Brand is closing in on Richard Reshka. Blake Hurley wants to find a way round Bradley Taylor.
There is no room for error in this battle.
Look at that. JP Brand is hot on the tail of Richard Reshka. Looks like Joni Geldenhuis is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curves aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about maintaining that fine line between speed and control.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Blake Hurley will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
That's right, Blake Hurley in second knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Bradley Taylor is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
It looks like JP Brand is in control. They're ahead of Jamie Nichols by over a second, and it doesn't look like they're going to be challenged anytime soon. The pursuit is on. Jamie Nichols is closing the gap on JP Brand, determined to claim P4.
With just 0.4 seconds between them, Jamie Nichols will need to close the gap to have hopes of a pass.
JP Brand is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
The delta between Jamie Nichols in 5th and JP Brand remains over a second, but Jamie Nichols is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 7 minutes left in this session to make that happen.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Jamie Nichols in 5th determined to catch up. But we know JP Brand isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Jamie Nichols is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
JP Brand is running fourth. They're trying to catch Richard Reshka.
The mental game is just as important here. JP Brand must keep their cool while putting pressure on Richard Reshka.
The tension is building as Jacobus Bassone trails behind Johnny Stander. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Johnny Stander is pushing to maintain the lead, while Jacobus Bassone is working to close in and challenge for the position.
It's going to be tough for Jacobus Bassone, as Johnny Stander seems to have found their rhythm.
Breaking news, folks. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. Every move counts now as JP Brand works to reel in Richard Reshka and overtake for P3. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Ernest Heather trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Jamie Nichols. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for JP Brand, who is currently in P4. But Richard Reshka is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from JP Brand.
Absolutely. JP Brand in fourth will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
It looks like Ernest Heather is pushing hard to catch up to Jamie Nichols. That's not a small gap, but Ernest Heather has what it takes to challenge for the position.
Indeed, the anticipation is high as Ernest Heather tries to reel in Jamie Nichols. But Jamie Nichols is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Ernest Heather needs to find a little extra speed to bring the fight to Jamie Nichols and move up the field.
It's a battle of wills out there, with JP Brand trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Richard Reshka. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. Ernest Heather could be looking for a way up the inside of Jamie Nichols. Ernest Heather could be on a charge here, Annie. They have just put in a quicker lap than Jamie Nichols.
We will have to see if Jamie Nichols has got any answers for that.
Fantastic move from Ernest Heather, who has just gained a position. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as JP Brand in fourth chases after Richard Reshka. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. JP Brand needs to find a way to close the gap. The race is heating up as Jamie Nichols in sixth closes in on Ernest Heather. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
That's right. Jamie Nichols in sixth knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Ernest Heather is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
The race is really heating up. Joni Geldenhuys is hunting down Jamie Nichols with everything they've got. It seems like Joni Geldenhuys is struggling. Their last lap time was a bit off the pace of Jamie Nichols.
It will be interesting to see if Jamie Nichols can keep outpacing Joni Geldenhuys.
Jamie Nichols is giving it their all as they chase down Ernest Heather in P5.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Jamie Nichols needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
A setback for Jamie Nichols, who has just been passed.
That's got to hurt. Jamie Nichols will be kicking themselves right now.
The tension is building as JP Brand trails behind Richard Reshka. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Richard Reshka is pushing to maintain the lead, while JP Brand is working to close in and challenge for the position.
This is where experience comes into play. Richard Reshka has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but JP Brand is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
Jamie Nichols has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Joni Geldenhuys. I expect their only hope at this point is that Joni Geldenhuys makes an error. It's a close race between Richard Reshka and Blake Hurley in second.
If Richard Reshka gets any closer to Blake Hurley, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
Things are heating up as JP Brand tries to close the gap to Richard Reshka.
It's a game of strategy now as JP Brand hunts down Richard Reshka. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
3 cars, 3 different racing strategies. Breaking news, folks. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. While Joni Geldenhuys is not under immediate threat from Blake Hurley, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position.
Surely they've got enough in the tank to pull away. Gonna be interesting to watch this battle unfold.
It seems like Joni Geldenhuys is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Joni Geldenhuys needs to refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they are capable of.
We often hear drivers complaining about tire graining. Annie, can you explain what that means and how it affects car handling?
Graining occurs when small rubber particles roll up on the tire's surface, reducing grip and negatively affecting handling. It usually happens when the tires are not in their optimal temperature window or when a driver is pushing too hard on a cold or overworked tire.
Jamie Nichols is placed 5th at the moment. It seems like Jamie Nichols has got the bit between their teeth, including on Blake Hurley's lap time there. The delta between JP Brand in 7th and Blake Hurley remains over a second, but JP Brand is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 16 minutes left in this session to make that happen. Bradley Taylor is on fire in the last sector. And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Bradley Taylor. Richard Reshka never gave up. They drove with heart and determination, ultimately securing a well-deserved second-place finish. Well done to Ernest Heather for securing 3rd place on the podium.
Great job bringing it home.
4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th is Joni Geldenhuys, Jamie Nichols, Blake Hurley, and JP Brand. Coming in 8th we have Peter Geldenhuys. Jacobus Besson claimed 9th. Johnny Stander ended in 10th.